This is Rocha's TV.
Well, I have on several occasions expressed my fear about APC and what happens to APC after the exit of Buhari. I've said this repeatedly. And my fear is not far-fetched. Mr. President has made an appeal to the party leadership, which is what he ought to do. But I think the party requires some structural redesign to be able to carry the party across 2023. When we run party on basis of sentiments, then we're going to still have problems that the PDP had in the time past. For God's sake, if somebody is not doing a proper job, he should be shown the way out, so that others who can do the job can take over and do it. That's after all. We have more than 100 million people in this particular job. But when we build ourselves with sentiments, then we're going to have a lot of challenges. No party ever survives with crisis. And on a daily basis, you hear APC with crisis here and there. And anytime a football team is not doing well, don't blame the players. You should blame the coach. And if the coach needs to be fired for things to get better, fire the coach and get a new coach to train the people to win their match. So this is my strong suggestion. And a party that does not respect the organs of the party is bound to fail. You don't have BOT meetings, you don't have NEC meetings, you don't have the organs of the party functional. You don't even have committees working. So that is not a party. So we need to call a spade and get things right and do it rightly. And everybody will be fine for it. And the party will pick up. So the whole idea of forming APC will not be in vain. I hate to join issues with Emeka Ihedioha. And I've tried everything to avoid making any comments concerning Emeka Ihedioha and his government. I've always said to people, time will tell. First, let me make it clear. If our constitution is anything to go by, and even Emeka Ihedioha knows the fact that he is not an elected governor of Imo State, and has never disputed that in anywhere. I don't know how much Imo people will score him for having Rochas as his main program or agenda for the government of Imo State. Because literally there's nothing to show on ground. But I've said this, and I'm tired of saying it, even to the press. I have challenged the entire PDP government for 12 years in Imo State, including governments before, that they should publish their achievements. And let me publish my achievement for 8 years. If all of them put together, the achievement can match my achievement, then I cease to play politics in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And if I'm not convinced, I won't say this. I've said it, time will tell number. I've mentioned this to everybody that needs to hear about it, but nobody seems to be taking this matter serious. And I leave it to you to investigate. Now, today I pride myself as having built the first ever international cargo airport today that made Imo State International Cargo Airport, just waiting to take off. And I expect the governor to make it work. Today I pride myself to have built the 27 general hospitals in the 27 local government. Some of them completed, yes, some not completed. And I've built the first ever mother and child 1,000 bed hospital and the first ever medical and diagnostic center called SOMTO of also 1,000 beds, and the first ever dialysis center, medical and dialysis center in Owerri, making 30 hospitals. Yet, Rochas have done nothing. I pride myself to have built 6 universities. 6 universities licensed by National University Commission. And if they are not universities, National University Commission will not license it. And I don't think those records can be beaten by anybody. I've built 4 polytechnics. And I've built 2 colleges of education. And 1 college of health technology. And Imo College of Advanced Professional Studies, making 13 tertiary institutions built by me within 8 years. I built the first ever police headquarters that is second to none in this country, outside the one where the IG of police stays. And I have one of the best high court complex built by my government. And one of the best prison headquarters to take about 3,200 inmates built by this one, completed. I have opened Owerri more than any governor in history has opened Owerri. And have built more roads in Owerri city more than any governor since the inception of that state called Owerri. To the extent that I made all my roads 8-lane roads. All I get for accusation is that there are China roads. Okay, but there are roads there at least. And today we're looking for the China to come and build it. I built 456 schools, primary schools, and none of them is of bungalow type. 2 floors, 12 classrooms, 456. Built by Rochas Okorocha. And I built ICT centers in the 27 local governments of Imo State. With 27 chapels, one in each of the local government of Imo State. And I introduced the first ever free education from primary to university with free uniforms, desks, learning materials by this administration. No child paid school fees in University or Polytechnic of Imo State. Imo State University Teaching Hospital is wearing a new look to the courtesy of Rochas Okorocha with 7 brand new built structures. The Ezimo Palace, which is second to none in this country. The Hero Square. The Freedom Square was built by me. The Concord Hotel was changed to a 5-star standard, which they can't even manage now. Real estate became at its peak, or we became the fastest growing city outside Abuja and Lagos during my 8 years in office. Nightlife came back to Owerri. I improved tourism by building the statues that people, they most talked about statues, but that is the pilgrimage of Imo State today. And I built Akachi, which was later put down by the current governor. And yet I'm the most investigated governor. 4 panels set against me. Now, I built that, I completed and made an edifice, the Imoto Investment Center, which they now converted into Kola Yajoko, where they said the lecture took place. But I built that place. It's almost like the Abuja International Conference Center, by standard. The brand new government house was built by me. There was no government house when I came there. It was all shanties. I built the modern governor's lodge, the Desamba Kweso chamber, the first lady's new office complex, the deputy governor's new office complex, built by me, Rochas Okorocha. So I wonder how. Okay, let me sound boisterous so you can hear it. And I hope it will create anger in their system to reply me. To say, put all the work done by the previous governors of Imo State is not equal to what I've done in 8 years. So let it provoke anybody that needs to hear. And I want them to list it. I challenge the press. Let everybody list whatever everybody have done. Then let me list mine. I dualized the road from Owerri to Okorocha. If I continue counting, I will not stop. Look at the first, second, third inland, fourth inland road, fifth inland roads, all the inland roads I built. So this is not right to criticize me because I'm not in government and because you have access to media and you can say anything about me. But coming to keeping the culture, when the traditional rulers of Nigeria visited Imo State, they were shocked at what they used to call Mbari, how I've made it a state of the art, Ezimo Palace, which is bigger than government house even. I introduced fourth-tier government outside federal, state, local government. I introduced what is called community government, just to make sure tradition takes its rightful place. And Omenimo Cultural Festival was brought in by me. What I introduced was what is called the State of Imo Address. In the State of Imo Address, the governor and leaders come to speak about culture and so many other things that concern the development of the state. And that held every year until I left office. I introduced the wrestling competition, Adimo and Upper Imo, onto our culture. Instead of young boys and young girls wearing bikini and jeans, dropping jeans, now you can wear proper Igbo dress, and they're judged for it. And they won cars and traveled abroad. What else can we do to promote our culture? Even our carnival of Imo every December was culturalized to the extent that people wear their cultural distance instead of the Western type of, people can wear their Igbo tradition and come and showcase carnival. I had the biggest carnival since the history of Imo State. That government is simply confused. And the better they work for the people, the better it is for them than making Rocha's Okorocha their project. So I advanced the cause of culture during my time. You see, you cannot separate the economy of Nigeria from this very out-of-school children problem. The out-of-school children and the economy are related in one way or the other. And that is not far away from also violence and Boko Haram and kidnapping and what have you. Because wherever you see poverty, there's a high tendency of violence and crisis. They're interwoven. So I've said severally at the floor of the Senate that this is a time bomb waiting to explode. The Boko Haram we're seeing today did not start on that very date that Boko Haram made the first attack. Boko Haram had been existing 30 years before then, when children are not going to school. And so that's the product of out-of-school children for a very long time. And now we have, I'm sure that time we may have about only 3 million, but now we have 13 million and still growing. The impact of this 13 million out-of-school children will not be felt now until 40 years to come or 20 years to come, when these people will also be a time bomb to that next generation of Nigerians. As an individual, I've done what I can do as a person by building several schools and having over 22,000 children of indigent children going to my school without having to pay for school fees across this nation. And I have school in 6 states in the northern part of this country and others from other parts of this country, because it's prominent in the northern part of this country. And if you look at the places with a high level of out-of-school children, just take the poverty rate. It's also very high. Or the poverty rate index is also very, very high. So they're correlated. But one thing that Nigeria has failed to understand is that the money coming from oil can no longer sustain our economy. And because of that, the problem will not stop. And there's no magic to it. The economy has to be right to be able to address this issue of out-of-school children. And the only answer to it is, 1, cut down on cost of governance, and 2, diversify your economy. But meanwhile, the immediate quick one is to cut down the cost of governance. And if you remember the last time I said, one senator per state, he created a hulabalo across the whole nation. But I saw that as a sacrifice. But wise nation like Italy, quickly 3 days after I made my statement, as if they borrowed my word, the National Assembly of Italy, on their own, cut down the number of their legislators, senators and House of Rep, to save 1 billion euro for the economy. The executive also have to make a huge sacrifice to save some funds and direct it towards this solving the problem of out-of-school children. So it's a major concern. Right now, the Rochas Foundation is partnering with Refugee Commission. And we're trying to introduce what is called tent and teach. Just emergency tent and teach the children. Get teachers within them and from outside, teach the children. To keep them busy at least to know how to read and write. Because within the refugee camp, we have over 1 million of them within the refugee camp alone who are not going to school. And they've been there. And they're getting used to not going to school, which is also a danger on its own. So what I suggest to do, outside the cutting down cost of governance and immediately rejigging our economy by diversification of the economy in the areas of the agriculture, in the areas of solid mineral, in the areas of tourism, as a long-term measure. But right now we have to do that and call for emergency, declare an emergency in the educational sector, and call good-spirited individuals. Listen, how many schools can you build? Can you help us take 20,000 and get it tax exempt? Who can take 30,000 children? Please take 30,000 and get tax exempt. Do you know, since I've been running for Rochas Foundation, I've never gotten 1 naira tax exempt in Nigeria. And today I have more than 4,000 graduates and 2,000 undergraduates and over 2,000 children in my schools. So we don't even encourage philanthropy in Nigeria. Nations encourage their wealthy people to give back to the society. But in this country, in fact, the more you give, the more you're a suspect. Whether think that you must have duped somewhere, you have done something illegal or something dirty to make money, and they think you are just using it to clean up your money. But meanwhile, you're doing this because we are concerned about the well-being of ordinary Nigerians. When I started Rochas Foundation 20 years ago, the impression of most people who believed that I was doing that was because it was politics. They said I was doing this for politics. And I said to them, I could have built school in Kano, Sokoto, Zaria, Bauchi, Adamawa, Jos, Ibadan, and I would have done that for any political reason because I wasn't running for president, I was running for governorship. But I saw a concern, and I did that. But they say it's politics. Now I've challenged every Nigerian. If Rochas Foundation is politics, let everybody play it. It's better for our nation. So the time has come where we must speak out the truth in this country, or we might be causing danger for generations yet unborn. So out-of-school children, it's not something that we just take very lightly. And look at how much has been budgeted for education. But I'll keep doing what I can do for my future satisfaction that at least I've given back to my society. So that's a challenge. Government alone cannot do this because the problem is overwhelming. What I'm talking about is about the internal crisis in the party. What makes election is not the winner of governorship. It's winner of the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's not just winner of governorship. Because the person that caused the whole thing is the president. I think that APC will go into presidency with this kind of state of mind and win election at the national level. You should also know that whether you like it or not, the presidential influence has a lot to do with any local election of any sitting government in power. Because nobody wants to be in opposition. So as far as President Buhari is seated, even the worst of the person all in any state you already have advantage even before starting the election, because there's a sitting government in power that's from your party. But what I'm talking about, when that seat of presidency is becoming vacant, who fills it up? The facility that was available for Abuja was not meant for more than 1 million people, or even 500,000. But today, Abuja is growing in a geometrical progression, and the resources are not there to meet up with those challenges. When you say there's power shortage and there's no light, it's not that there's no light, there's light. But the number of people scrambling for the light is more than the light itself. If Abuja population reduces to 100,000 today, we are going to have 30 hours of power, not even 24 hours. But as you keep stretching the cable and stretching more people, and the power is still the same, then you cannot meet up the power need of the people. This is common sense. Maybe people don't understand. And this is why Abuja must be handled differently. The spirit with which Dubai was built should be the same spirit which Abuja should be built. Abuja by nature is the capital of Nigeria and is the headquarters of Nigeria, and it's not a cheap city. To build Abuja, you must adopt the principle of OPM, other people's money, because this budgetary can never meet up. Other people's money is what you use to do, and you must know that land is a capital, and as wealth set aside for production of further wealth. So you must be run like a pure business to get Abuja right, because people must pay for those facilities, either by the acquisition of land or whatever, or the taxes they pay, to give them the services that it requires. But if you're waiting for federal government to give you, out of their lean budget, another money to develop Abuja, the situation will get worse. So, the same problem, like you said, the population is increasing. And every Nigerian has the freedom of movement. And whenever they see small light, they cluster there and the light will go down, because we see nothing has increased. I mean, the power distance in Nigeria is not increasing like the population is increasing. That's the challenge. And when you start having this kind of neighborhoods, it also constitutes a very serious crime. Neighborhood without light, neighborhood without water, neighborhood without... this is another slum being created within Abuja. So something must be done to raise money to run the affairs of Abuja, including security. And Abuja can raise its money itself to handle the affairs of the Abuja as a capital. Well, I tell you something. I think I've spoken on this issue of border closure. Government have said that it's a temporary thing to enable us to look inwards. I have always said that border closure, I see it as more or less a campaign, creation of awareness for Nigerians to begin to look inwards on how to feed themselves. But you can't stretch it for too long, because Nigerians will always have a way to bring these goods in. And when they bring it in through a tedious means, the cost of living will become very, very high. So it's neither here nor there. You cannot live all your life importing goods every time that you produce nothing. You become a consuming nation. That's how I say it. And it's going to get worse. Because now that we have signed into this global trade arrangement, and the trade arrangement with other African countries, it's going to be worse. Nigeria might eventually become a dumping ground. And this is a smart thing by other African nations to have done that. Let's open up our trades. Let's see who can compete better, who can produce better. So you see, Rwanda now will start producing rice we eat, gari that we eat, and import everything, instead of Chinese bringing. They will bring all the goods. And if Nigeria, with their population, cannot produce anything to go out, then we're going to be in danger for it. But the hardship is created for the people is also there. This is why I believe that it's going to be very temporary. And government on their part will also provide alternative as quickly as possible so people can start producing something. But how do you produce again? Going to production without power, another major problem. So my idea would have been, let's create an economic zone for manufacturing and take at least 1,000 megawatts of power plant only to that area for purpose of production, or 2,000 megawatts out of the 7,000 that we have. 2,000 should be given for production, and not for residential, for only production. So factories can start coming up. Why we manage the less for residential until things get better? You see, you must always cut your coat according to material available, not according to your size. Nigeria must devise a means of tackling this. But it's very painful that you go from Lagos to Owerri, to Bokoma village, and you go to Katsina and go to Meduguri and come back to Cross River. Anywhere you see smokes coming out, it's a smoke of consumption, not of production in this country. It's either you see nkwobi or fried rice or chicken. While if you go to China and see smokes popping out, they're producing goods to stabilize the economy of China. And this is the employment we're talking about. So, for politicians, we might have to have a quick answer whether you try to favor government or favor the people. It creates a lot of hardship. But what I'm saying is that even when the borders are closed, we should fast track the other way, the alternative thing for production to start, to cushion the effects on the ordinary people, because the people government don't understand. In fact, all that we know is that government create job, government give us light, government give us security, government give us agriculture, government give us aviation, give us a road, do this, and nobody asks government, where is the money? If we don't take some immediate action, the situation will get worse, because in the next 2023, the population of Nigeria would have also increased. And demand on the system will be more. The next 10 years, it will be worse. In the 2050, it will be about 400 million people scrabbling for 7,000 megawatts of power plant. While in America has gone to 700,000 to almost 1 trillion megawatts of power. So the whole power we use in Nigeria is not up to the power of Fire Service Department of New York. And what we do is that we must agree at one point to make sacrifices by all concerned. Both the governors, govern and the governed must make sacrifices to help this thing start. Take for instance now, how much have we made out of this year's budget? 11 trillion, almost 11 trillion naira budget. Out of that 11 trillion naira, 81% of it is salary and welfare. Are we a serious nation? We're not a serious nation. Because we're even eating what belongs to future generation of Nigerians. And out of that 2 trillion remaining, or 19% for capital this thing. So that's what we're borrowing. So we're borrowing to take care of certain small things. And you cannot stop workers from charging their songs of solidarity and increase the salary. And as the salary is increasing, and the things are getting expensive because of lack of production, the workers end up getting nothing. Because if I increase your salary to 100,000 and the bag of rice is 100,000, of what difference is the increase for you? So these are some of the economic things that we have, we just know, and then begin to address certain things. But in the immediate, we must cut down on cost of governance immediately. We must cut down on cost of governance. And I'm sure if the leaders show that kind of sacrifice, I bet that kind of sacrifice, others will follow. As a governor, I forfeited my security vote for 8 years. Nobody knows about that. Security vote for 8 years. And if I go by the calculation, you must say government is owing me over 8 billion or 6 billion naira thereabout. If I have to collect back, I want to collect back my security vote. that is cutting down on cost of governance. And you cannot do what others are doing because you're not others. I couldn't have done the kind of contract Akwa Ibom or Lagos State would do. Because what they get in 1 month is what I collect in 10 months. So I have to change the style. So people must change. Cut your coat according to your material available, not according to your size. Nigeria is cutting their coat according to their size. But the material available can't cover them. So if you sew it according to material available, even if it gives you a short knicker and monkey jacket, you call it a style. You call it a short monkey style. But at least you're wearing something to cover yourself. But if you want to go with a flowing gown, or you wear parachute of 10 yards, when you can afford it, then you must be putting yourself in difficulties. Okay, I think I've answered this severally. My belief? I believe that power must be given to he that has vision, irrespective of where he comes from. Because tribe cannot provide food on the table of the common man. Neither will it guarantee security. And I always make fun of those who glamour for, even within the state, is our zone has not governed, this zone has not governed. I say it's just like your colleague coming for boxing. I say, do I know who I am? I'm from this zone. Box if you can box. I've always believed that. But that usually does not wipe away the total sentiment of mankind. And as you see the politics of today, everybody looks up to the north, whether south, south, southwest, or southeast, for shopping of votes, because the north has a large chunk of the vote to make who becomes the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So north is the hot market. And but one good thing I know of the north is that, especially the Islamic world, or a typical Muslim, is a man of conscience who believes in equity, justice, and unity. And that's the tripod upon which Islam is rested upon. So, only hope, if you like the word, for anybody from the southern part of this country wanting to contest election. Because the north, or from the east, the north will naturally feel, look, having presidency having gone round, let's now, for purpose of equity, so to say, for purpose of what they call adultery, and not showing the difference between tribe and religion, let somebody from the southeast or southeast be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's only on that basis. Igbos alone cannot make themselves president. So the quicker they get themselves together and start shopping for support from the north and from the other parts of this country, the better it is to realize the dream. But I know one day we shall come to that point when positions of who become president will not be based on the sentiments of where you come from or the tribe or religion. Only then our democracy will sing the proper song and will be said it has come. But for as long as we keep singing the song of, is this tribe and this religion, then we're not getting it right. The issue there is that we need somebody who can move this nation forward. Somebody who can guarantee food on the table of common man, create jobs, and change Nigeria to become the Dubai of Africa, or become the Japan of Africa, or become a great nation in Africa, which the whole African nation is looking up to. That's what I think we need. But sentimentally again, which makes you an emotional being, then people ask them, where is the justice? Where is the fairness? And where is the equity and unity of the country? But what Nigeria needs most now, and I've said to people, is that man who will come in as a president and help unite Nigeria, or control with the unity of Nigeria. That the Yoruba man will see an Hausa man as a brother, Hausa man will see an Igbo man as brother, and Efik and what tribe have you, will see ourselves as one. Just like we say ourselves as one during the football matches. That we should continue beyond football matches. That's what we need. And someone who can create jobs. So job. And, you know, guarantee security for the people of Nigeria. It is not where you come from. That counts to me first. And because whenever you are hungry, you don't go to the pan of your tribe to eat. In fact, you don't sew your clothes because the man is from your place. You go to the person who can sew it to fit you, or someone who cooks what you like. There are so many houses eating Igbo food like every day in Abuja here, and so many Igbos going to Hausa restaurants. They don't care where you come from. Or when you are sick, you don't go to a doctor because the doctor is Hausa, Igbo, or Yoruba. You go because the doctor can give you the right medicine. If your senior brother is a quack doctor, you will run in the night to go to your proper doctor without even saying. The what I understand of Night Senate is, I call it that Night Senate as let peace be. The Senate is not there to fight the executive, quarrel with the judiciary, or even quarrel among themselves. The Senate is there to let peace be. Whatever can make the peace to be for us to move forward, let it be. That's how I can assess this Senate for now, for what I've said. And there's a very cordial working relationship among the people and teamwork among the entire Senate. Though sometimes individual differences occur. You have your opinions, and when you express them, opinion of others, and see how you can marry your opinion with the larger expectation of the National Assembly. So I call it let peace be. And when you talk about peace, you don't discuss crisis, you know. So it's a peaceful Senate. That's what I want to say.
This is Okorocha TV.